Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the HC Chuchu's Demi Trainer, or some people like to call this the customized Demi Trainer from the Witch from Mercury series. Now once again, I am really enjoying the series so far, and I believe regarding this unit, we haven't seen this in actual combat action, if I remember correctly. The only time we actually seen this unit move around is basically when going through the obstacle test, which is a class in school where they have to run a few meters, avoid, the landmines and yada yada. So as far as the instruction manual mentions, this is kind of like a hit and run unit. So basically fire, move around and such. So kind of like a sniper type unit in general. All right. So once again, I really enjoyed the build for this, and I'm sorry for the late review regarding this kit because for the past few weeks my schedule has been very busy because of my job and other stuff as well. So if I had to attend multiple events, so I couldn't really have much time to actually build the kit or review something as long as a kit. So I had to review something more simple. So sorry about that delay. And also Korea seems to be releasing each kit 1 week later compared to Japan as well. So that is kind of a bummer for me. Anyway, so let's get on to the review. So, as usual, let's go over components. So, first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the Demi Trainer, Chuchu's Demi Trainer itself. Really interesting build factor. I also really enjoyed the solid build. Definitely reminded me when I was kind of building the Genoese or line the Genoese 2, the Genoese Custom, and yada yada. Because of how this build was simple yet solid. That's actually a very good thing. Sticker-wise, there's not much. There's only 3 stickers. Number one. This long square one, this long square one, number 1 goes onto the chest. The other ones are the scope stickers, so that's pretty much it. So equipment-wise, it's very simple. I was kind of surprised that this thing does not actually has a close combat type weapon. Then again, I think that was pretty obvious at this point. So we get its main rifle, and I believe the rifle name is kind of interesting as well. This is just literally called Large Beam Rifle. And yeah, while I do like the looks of it, it definitely has this cable action going on. It also has a very interesting connection. So a very unique type of connection that we don't see too often these days. So that's that. And hands wise, we do have the multi-purpose hand, which is basically the closed up hands that can hold anything. And we get these large open hands as well. So the hands are not your typical 5 fingers human style hands. These are the 3 finger style hands. So definitely an interesting take, although the handguards, this one is gray while the other one is yellow, so a little bit color difference, but I'm assuming the regular Demi Trainer should have this color, so I'm just assuming they just reused the plates. Alright, so let's get on to the review right away. So let's look at from top to bottom. Once again, very simple build and yet kind of a unique design going on here. So here we have the head. Now the head, obviously because of the style or design is, you definitely tell there's no going up and down, even the way how the connection is. And oddly enough, you have this part that technically when you're building this, you have to close this section up first and then attach the fin going on here. Now I'm always curious, what does these parts actually do in realistically in combat? Maybe these are extra armor or something going on, but yeah. But other than that, you can go 360 because thanks to the design here, and the mono-eye is or sensor, which the manual mentions, is a clear green piece. You can see there's not only the mono-eye, but you can see these parts protruding out on the sides. So it's kind of a large green clear piece going on here. So that's that for the head. Now let's get the arms first. So each shoulder has a different shoulder armor. I'm assuming now this is supposed to be the standard design for this unit, or at least this yellow part is the standard shoulder for the Demi Trainer. But once again, being customized, they added a shield. This side, I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm assuming maybe they didn't have enough funds to actually have the to fully modify it or something, so they replaced it with this. So that's that. When I mean money, I'm talking about the houses in the anime, not the actual Bandai company. But despite that, they both have the same articulation. They can go 360, and then they can go forward and backward as well. Now, the one with the shoulder armor is obviously the shield is connected as a ball joint, and there's another joint here, so you can move the shield upwards like that if you want to do so. Or rotate the shield around if you want to do so as well. And the arm can go 360 on each side like that. And also the lower arm here can rotate on its own, so if you want to reposition the hand, not the hand go, not only the hand but this part area, you can do that. And we also have a hole there, so if you want to like add an extra weapon or shield, that is possible. And hand wise, despite how larger it is than a standard hand, it is a typical ball jointed hand, so no need to worry about that. Alright, so, and yeah, and despite how the connection is, it's not only like this, you can actually go upwards, because the way how this works is that this joint here, this joint actually has a single ball joint on the front, which connects to the front only, so which is why it allows us to go upwards as well, not only sideways. So kind of an interesting connection there. And body wise, you do get a nice ab crunch going on here, and 360 should be no problem because of the design and structure. And looking at the backpack here, we have the backpack. Very simple backpack. It's basically one of those snap two pieces together and then attach these side pieces. And you can see there's these ports on each side of the backpack. That's because we need to connect this wire right over here, so big deal. And the skirts, or the waist section. Now the front skirt, this time I did separate it this time, so it comes as a single piece, but you can separate them if you want to do so. Here we have this giant port which connects this part. You basically connect it here, and you have the rifle connected, you know, permanently, or at least not permanently, but you have a stable connection right over here. That kind of looks a little bit awkward, but oh well. One thing I've also noticed is that we have these ports, but there are no side skirts. I forgot if the standard Demi trainer has ones, but definitely it was an interesting thing to see where they actually left this right over here. They could have just used a piece which, you know, that doesn't have a hole here, so that was kind of interesting here. Now the back skirt does move, but this one actually serves a different purpose. So you can see a small peg there that's supposed to be protruding there. You can open this section up, so the back skirt does move, but this also locks the kit. So if you unlock this, you can actually move this part forward and backward like that. That's definitely an interesting, you know, movement. I'm not sure why that's there. I mean, maybe it's more of a sniping pose kind of situation that I'm not aware of, but it was definitely something very odd that I found, that to me, at least to me, that was like something first time for me seeing such thing. But yeah, oops. I think I got in the correct position or something like that. But yeah, it's a very tricky location, but it works. And now looking at the legs, once again, we have these standard connections going on here. So for the sake of the articulation, I'm going to open the back skirt up for now. And so the legs, despite how large the side looks, you still get a nice side swivel. Going backwards 90 degrees is possible. Forward is also possible as well, as long as you don't you know, collide with anything. And once again, on the knee sections, we have these armor parts. I do like these type of designs, so I have no complaints regarding this. And we have these side thrusters going on here, and these actually do have a name, which is called the flexible booster. So another thing that regarding this customized Demi trainer is that this is supposed to be a little bit faster. So the way how they got speed is that they increase speed on the legs here. So with these thrusters, you can go forward, you can pretty much, you know, stop or go forward faster as well. And if you don't like the position here, you can always slide it down like that. The way how this is possible is that if you look in the inside, you can see this port here can actually slide up and down. So it's really up to your position or your taste on where to position it. So if you think it's a little bit too upwards, as the manual tell you, you can always slide it down to give it the, you know, typical standard design position almost. And yeah. So I assume if he wants to go faster, you go like this and stop like that. That's just my guess, but hopefully we can see this unit in action. Bend wise, despite how the knee armors are, you can still get a very nice bend going on here. And the sections also move up and down a little bit, so if you want to reposition it, you can do so. Feet wise, kind of an interesting connection here. So the main connection here on the ankles are a peg, but, oops, a lot of parts are moving. Give me a moment, there we go. As you can see, because of the peg, you can move the, there we go, you can move the feet side to side like that if you want to do so. You can move the feet side to side if you want to do so. Now, the ankle guard here is also on a ball joint, but the ball joint is slightly on, it seems a little weak to me. There's no stretch mark yet, but it was definitely a little bit scary to apply the armor by pressing it down, so be careful with that. So it is on the ball joint. The front feet is also, I believe this one is on the ball joint as well, so you can go, you get a nice pivot on the front feet, and the back ones are on more of like a peg system, so you can go side to side. So pivot wise, you get a very nice pivot. if you move the both feet together. And I was kind of curious what this part was when I was building it, but according to the manual, this is called the Wheel Dash Plus. So these are supposed to be wheels. Now, when you're building this, this is not going to be like a circular piece. This is just like a L-shaped piece, round L shape. So this is just trying to give you the illusion that these are wheels, but in mechanical mostly wise, these are supposed to be wheels, and I thought that was pretty cool and interesting. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the unit. So before we show some demonstrations here, let's talk about the rifle. Now the rifle is kind of interesting. So we have a long rifle, and as I mentioned before, here is the connection to the crotch area, and this part can also on the peg, so you can move side to side like that. And there's another peg here, so you can move side to side entirely, but there's also another peg joint here, so you can move up and down as well. So that's a lot of movement than you think. So what you can technically do is attach this and do this and make it go to the side if you want to do so while attaching. And now this thing has two handles. The front one is they're both very long or large handles, so each handle, the front one can go side to side, 90 degrees to each side, no big deal. Here is the scope I was talking about, front and back stickers, and the back one, which I believe this is the main handle, which has the trigger. It can go 360 for some reason as well. And here we have the cable connection here. The back stock connection, I'm not a big fan of. I personally don't like these type of connections right over here, like a square peg, because eventually, or when you're moving it, they're always going to be wobbly, and they're always going to be like this, depending on how you position it. So yeah. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the unit, so I'll be right back with the rifle attached to the Demi trainer, and let's see what we got. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the first demonstration going on here. So here we have like a typical double hand pose. Now, I also found on the back of the manual, so I found this pose slightly to be interesting more because it's holding it a bit lower compared to like what you would expect it to be holding, more like the top section here. So once again, holding it with the double hand pose is no problem as well. Although I did notice that the back stock sometimes kind of collides with the arm because this part being a little bit fat, but still it works, and the cable connection is fine because I think the length is pretty much enough and not too. It's not one of those tight and stiff cables going on here, which sometimes ruins the whole connection point here. Once again, no big deal here. I think I really like the pose going on here, and I do think that the giant hands are a nice new touch onto the mobile suit. Alright, so I'll be right back with the last demonstration, which is pretty much the top pose right over here, and we'll call it a day. Okay, I'm back. So apparently it was pretty tricky to do this pose, but I realized, number one, I keep forgetting that there is the crotch connection here, and number two, you can actually control the overall angle of the mobile suit top body by releasing the back skirt. So what I did is that I lowered the front section as much as possible, and then increased the back height as much as possible using the back system going on here, and that actually helped a lot doing this this pose as well. So you can see you can see the crotch, not the crotch area, the ab crunch area all the way downwards to the front. And once again, I forgot to mention that despite how the gigantic size here, you can actually get a very nice spread because there is no side skirt armor as well. So yeah, and it works. And if you can pull out the front feet just a little bit, you can get a nice toe bend, just a little bit. So everything works pretty well, and you have the action base connector right over here. And that is pretty much it. So once again, I'm actually really excited to see how the Demi trainer comes out. I was kind of surprised that this came out more earlier compared to the Demi trainer, because you would usually think the Demi trainer would come out first and then the customized version would come out. But this was also a nice touch as well. So once again, I'm really looking forward to the Demi trainer, and hopefully it turns out very well. Anyway, this was the review of the HG Chuchu's Demi trainer from the Gundam Witch from the Mercury series. If you guys got any questions or requests, you can comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.